Joining us now on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline is a longtime friend, former BYU defensive back star, a man who has spent several hours in Studio B with us. His name is Brian Logan. B-Lo, it's good to see you, man.
What's up?
What's going on?
Hey, we're talking football schedules today. Are you up for this?
I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited.
I'll take that as a yes. Hey,
yes, I'm ready.
2021 loaded, 7 Power Fives, but as we just pointed out, maybe some of these Power Five teams, especially the ones that are coming to Provo, are not as talented as they have been in the past, yet there are just several brand names all over the schedule. So, Brian, is the 2021 BYU football schedule, after all is said and done, going to be the toughest that BYU football ever plays?
I don't think so, man. I think, as analysts and fans, we have to kind of remove the P5, hype when it comes to certain schools. On paper and sometimes even with the brand, schools look really appealing, and you kind of get scared, like, oh man, you got Arizona and Arizona State and all these different types of schools. But at the end of the day, like, Arizona really sucks. I'm not concerned
it's
about
true. They're not good.
They're not. And, when you look at the history of BYU football and, just the schedules, obviously, the first couple games are always P5 teams. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But for the most part, BYU can hang with those types of teams, right? Especially if they're mid-tier to, bottom level of their conference. BYU is winning those games. You know what I mean? We're winning those games. So I see a lot of those types of teams on this schedule. And so I don't really, think it's going to be the hardest. I think BYU, depending on injuries, it all comes down to injuries, can come away with a lot of wins.
Okay, I absolutely agree with you. And just looking at Arizona year to year, since 2015, 2 winning seasons, and those 2 were 7-6 both years. They're not a program that BYU can't handle. Obviously, in 2008 in the Vegas Bowl, it's a different story, a less motivated BYU, whatever. Arizona won. I actually hate that conversation about they weren't motivated. Who cares? Arizona won. But BYU has won this game a bunch against Arizona. Okay, Utah, always a tough game. Arizona State, that's going to be a good game. Arizona State, it's expected to be top 25-ish. We'll see, though. Boise State, and not a Power 5, but that's always a tough game. Baylor, I don't know what Baylor's going to be. I know they have Jeff Grimes and Eric Mateos. I know they're Big 12, and they sling it. Washington State, what are they going to be with Nick Rolovich in his second year? Virginia, 2 years ago, Virginia was in the Orange Bowl, but they're just okay, right? And then USC is always tough. It's manageable.
Look, check this out, man. With I don't know about Virginia. And I'm not, obviously I'm a little bit biased with
defending
Bronco,
your boy,
but I'm just, okay, this is the best way I could put this, right? And Bronco is not really the type to put a certain emphasis on a certain game, right? However, I think, behind closed doors, this one has to be circled on his calendar.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Think about the love of your life, like a girlfriend or something, dumping you. And you get an opportunity to, come back with a supermodel on your arm. What do you think is going to happen, man? You know what I mean? I'm about to do anything and everything in my power, stay up late, watch extra film. I'm going to lift weights. Even though I'm not playing the game, I'm still going to lift weights. You know what I mean? Just to get my mindset ready, because I'm going to feel, some type of way that you guys, didn't want me anymore. So I think that's going to be a good one, obviously. And if it wasn't Bronco in the scenario, I would say, just like what you say, Jarom, it's definitely manageable. That's another team that's usually a BYU football team or program can win.
Brian Logan with us on BYU Sports Nation. Now, I like your comparison. However, Bronco's the one that broke up with BYU, technically speaking. So,
yeah,
with that in mind, I know you want to talk fans and all that stuff, push them away. For whatever reason, he made the decision to go to Virginia. So
reason, $3 million decision.
Does that decision, backed by $3.2 million per year, give BYU added motivation to say, hey, we're better than when you left us? What do you think about that dynamic going into the BYU Virginia game?
I agree with you 100%. I mean, let's put it back into, let's put ourselves in Kalani's shoes, right? I'm thinking the same thing that Bronco's thinking. If I'm in his shoes, I'm thinking, okay, this man's going to want to come back hard, guns a blazing. He's going to have his team focused. So you know what? You ain't going to get me this week. I'm about to turn it up a notch too. And so obviously, coaches do a really good job of keeping their teams even keeled throughout the week, trying to, keep their teams from certain distractions and storylines. But at the end of the day, when these coaches go home to their wives and to their families, look, I'm gonna need an extra 2 hours, 3 hours of quiet time. I need to focus. Just give me a week, babe. 1 week. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, deep down in their hearts, you have two competitive guys that understand these storylines. And I'm not saying that I don't want to compare the analogy to Shaq and Kobe, but when you look at the competitiveness, right? And when Kobe won that ring and he's like, hey, I got one more than Shaq. It's kind of like that. You have this masculine energy and this competitive edge and fire that ultimately you want to come down to win. So I'm with you, Spencer. I think it goes both ways.
That'll be a fun matchup, although I think the NBA comps are Raul Neto and Georges Niang for these two. But anyway, we can discuss that in a minute. Okay, walk us through. Obviously, we look at it a certain way. Fans look at it a certain way. Team looks at it a different way. Tom Holland may even look at it a different way. What's it like when you went into 2009 and you knew, oh, man, we've got Oklahoma, we got Florida State, we got TCU and Utah. You didn't know until later. We have Oregon State, who was a ranked team at the time. What's it like as a player getting ready for a schedule like this?
I'm not gonna lie to you. And this is like the furthest away from a political answer that an athlete should say. Because usually we're taught, every game is the same and it's just the next week up. Man, heck no way. When you look at certain games and I would say certain schedules, but then more so, from a week to week, basis, you want to step your game up. I mean, you really get excited because of the brand that you're playing against. And I think that's what really motivates a lot of players, right? Is rising up to the challenge. That's just who we are as athletes and competitors. And so I think that's probably why when you look at the recruiting, and obviously Kalani's done a good job, but that schedule has got to be appealing to a lot of kids that are maybe on the fence. With coming to a P5 school or coming to a team like BYU. And so you get excited, you don't go to school, you don't do homework, you don't see your girlfriends, you know what I mean? Like it takes you to a whole, another level. And I'm excited for these guys because of the opportunity to travel, the stadiums, obviously, TV schedules and whatnot, and just overall the exposure. Even though we lost to Florida State, we don't talk about, I don't know if you guys remember, we don't talk about 2009 Florida State, but 2010 Florida State, I mean, even though we lost, right, just the venue and the brand, growing up and watching those teams play, that's something that I'm going to always remember. And not the exact, play-by-play or even the win or loss, but just the atmosphere and the energy and the crowd and the stadium, all of those things outside of being on the field is what you remember. And so you just get hyped and you just get extra juice.
Brian Logan is on BYU Sports Nation. Let's talk about specifically this BYU football team and maybe most importantly, the starting quarterback position, because we learned from Kalani Sitake yesterday, officially, it's down to a three-man race between Jaron Hall, Baylor Romney, and Jacob Conover. Brian, knowing what you know, having the conversations that you have, who do you think is going to be the guy that starts against that juggernaut Arizona that you have pointed out in early September?
Arizona is Boo Boo Johnson. I'm just gonna say that, man. Boo Boo. Anyway, I would say Jaron.
Amen.
I think he gives you the best opportunity to win. And what that is it's like this it factor, right? And we talked about it, the whole time with Zach. something you can't really just put on, you can't label it as far as an athlete, if an athlete has it or not. And I don't think at this point I could say that Jaron has it as strong as Zach, but you still see that burning, that desire. You see that the leadership, you see that the dedication. You hear stories of him putting extra work in, and all those things. As an athlete and just as an analyst, I gotta say that's he's got to win just because of the work ethic, right? And as a player, even on the defensive side of the ball, whenever I saw my quarterbacks work hard, man, it did something to me. Because traditionally quarterbacks really aren't as athletic, right? And I know Jaron is, but at the same time, the assumption that comes with the quarterback position, you kind of I almost want to say like, okay, I want to step my game up. I don't want to look bad, or I want to rise to the occasion. If we have a quarterback that can lead us to victories or put us in positions to win games, I want to do everything that I can do. And so I think the leadership skills, being able to walk it like you talk it, practice what you preach is kind of what I see. So I think obviously, first and foremost, that is what, allows him to be in the league.
Brian, we need to talk football more often, specifically the defensive side. We can't do that today because we're out of time, but that just gives us reason to have you back on again soon. So get yourself ready to talk BYU football defense the next time we do this.
I'm ready, man. And look, when Ben sent me the list of questions, I was like, "There's no way we're getting this." I talk way too much.
You're in Blaine status now. We prepped 3 questions.
I was wondering why I got like 10 questions. I was like, "What? Did they not remember?"
We're more prepared now.
And shout out to Uncle B, man. I'm in competition with him right now. I see him at the gym.
Let's see the guns.
My arms a little bit. Hey, best wingman ever, Uncle B at the gym.
Love it.
Best wingman ever.
Duly noted. He does many things well.
We
Brian.
don't know what that's like in a gym.
I forgot you guys are married. Yeah.
Hey now, come on. Brian, good to catch up with you, man. Let's talk again soon.
You guys too. Have a good one.
Brian Logan on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, you know why, we show how.